Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Talking Reds, and it is a Friday night. That means it is Redzone time on a Friday night. My favourite stream of the week, my favourite day of the week. Redzone is here. We talk about basically the whole of the week. We go through all the topics. A certain Swedish player, Larsson, Henrik Larsson, Alexander Isak. We're going to speak about Alexander Isak as per the thumbnail. Hugo Ekitike has signed as well this week for Liverpool, becoming our, I want to say, fifth sign of the summer, including Mamadashvili. Am I right? We're getting that many players.
Yeah.
I'm losing count of how many people we're signing right now. And also, we're going to speak over also Diaz, Konate, Elliot, Nunez, their futures at Liverpool as well. Give it up to the chat as well, making sure everyone is their opinions across as well. Beef said here, my son knows I like to watch your channel and could please give a quick hello to Brendan before the kickoff. It would mean a lot to him. Absolutely. I hope you're doing okay, Beef, and I hope you're doing okay. Brendan as well. Welcome in. Nice to see you guys. Make sure you do keep watching the channel as much as we can. We're trying to get bigger and bigger as much as we can. We try to get as best we can on this channel for you guys. Beef, Brendan, Jen. We're trying to make the best content we physically can for you guys. As the bigger we get, the better content we get. So yeah, let's get over those news topics this week as well as Jen saying there. Smash the likes, hit that like button. 2 seconds to hit tells you to hit it, and make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Right, obviously the main topic is going to be Isak. It's going to be Ekitike. So Newcastle fans, thank you for everything. Thank you for the plan that you give us, the master plan that you sent us 4-4-2. You tell us to go get Ekitike, and now you're going to give us Isak to complete that master plan. Thank you so much, Jake.
Speechless.
I just think it's absolutely hilarious the way it's panned out. Is there anything 100%. You want to say to Newcastle fans right now?
Who's laughing now? It's been talk, past probably 6 months actually, saying you're not getting Isak, he's not for sale. And we've even said on this channel, we've said, okay, he's not for sale. It's always a wish, but keep wishing and that wish can come true. And then he's handed in a transfer request, but he said he's open to a move. So there you go.
Daniel said, "Oh, lads, I'm mad. Why are you mad, Daniel?" I'm sure you're a Liverpool fan, you're not a Newcastle fan. Ryan, isn't it funny how things turn out?
Well, I mean, I don't want to sort of like jump the gun. I think it's looking more likely, isn't it? Especially with him pushing for the move, and realistically, all that needs to happen is Newcastle's stance of not for sale is to change, and that's all that the Newcastle fans have sort of like latched onto the past 24 hours. Is that the club is still saying he's not for sale, whilst exploring obviously deals for Johan Visser, exploring deals for Benjamin Sesko. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well is on their list. You don't really go on that much of an offensive if you've got a not for sale stance. It's Isak and Visser, is the future, and you definitely don't enter personal term talks and direct club to club talks with Leipzig for Sesko if you've got no interest of selling him. So yeah, you never want to jump the gun, but I'd say Isak's movements this week have probably made it not impossible, but very, 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 very difficult for him to stay at Newcastle now. You'd think Eddie Howe leaving him out of the squads. The fans have sort of turned on him on social media. Alan Shearer's had like a little bit of a dig at him and a little bit of a dig at the club for going with the whole injury thing. Like, it's messy and there's room for it to get even worse. I just don't see how he stays at Newcastle, but I also don't see how he doesn't end up at us, because I think we're the only club who are realistically interested in him. So it feels like it's straightforward, but it's not yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to believe transfers to happen until they do happen, but this summer does feel different. We've been burnt so many times. However, the way it's looking, there's only one. It only looks like it's going one direction.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We talk about, there's also Saudi clubs are going to be interested in Isak. It's obvious. He's one of the best strikers in the world, and if he becomes available, they're going to put their money about. But Isak seems to. I mean, Romano literally said it this morning when we were live on stream this morning. Romano said it. Isak wants Liverpool. Liverpool want Isak. That is the situation right now. And if he is to go, which right now, if we're honest, the percentage right now is really high of him going because he's pushing for the move. Eddie Howe doesn't seem like he's going to block his way. Thank you, Eddie Howe, for speaking very truthful as well for the last week. I like the honesty from him. And I don't know if Newcastle fans do, but I certainly like the honesty from him. But if he's looking like he's on the way out and he wants Liverpool, then it pretty much looks like he's coming to Liverpool. It's just now up to Newcastle, whether they budge a little bit. And I think one thing that's very, very key right now in terms of Newcastle and their stance on the situation is the fact that they're looking for other strikers. That's massive.
Yeah.
That's massive. And not just one striker, looking at two. They were already adding a striker. Obviously, Callum Wilson's going to be going. They're already adding another striker behind it, Isak Ekitike. But that didn't work out, obviously. He's now in Hong Kong playing with the Liverpool squad. So, and being interviewed by Konate. But I think the fact that they're looking at Vissa and Sesko tells you everything you need to know about their stance on Isak, and the fact that they might just have to accept. And I speak about this morning, Jake. I think someone in the chat asked this morning how long is this going to go on. I think we can wait. We can wait till the end. It doesn't bother us because we've got Ekitike in now, so we're not desperate for that striker. Yeah. But I don't think Newcastle can. I think Newcastle, whether he goes or stays, they need to resolve that now. They need to get that done in the next week or 2 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
Because they've got 5 weeks left of the window. They've not bought a striker. They've not got any midfielders in. They've not got a defender in. They've got Elanga, and that's it. Everything else they've failed on. Yeah. They need to get that done ASAP to sort out their issues and going forward.
Yeah.
You've also got the fact that Craig Hope, the bloke who broke it all, the Newcastle journalist who's out there at the moment, said this morning that after speaking to some of the players, this I think it would have been last night, so this morning for us, he was saying that the vibe is that some of them already think he's gone. I think the sort of feeling. The feeling in some players is the fact that they actually want him to leave now. They want him to move on. Joe Linton put up that Instagram post, didn't he, where it was like, it'll always be my second home, and it was him cheering with the fans whilst Isak walks away, and it's just a bit like we all know, like we all know what you're getting at there. And then Bruno Gomes and Dan Burn both did interviews on the tour today where they were still going with the tagline of he's injured, he's getting treatment at the club, but we know that there's noise around him. After we've already let Ornstein and everyone's already broke the fact that it was nothing to do with an injury. It was the fact that he trained on Monday for a couple of minutes and then removed himself from training, hasn't trained since, removed to go on the tour, etc. The player's head is completely turned. It's gone. So it's not even just a case of Newcastle keeping him because they can't sign. Sorry, not being able to keep him because they need to sign players. It's also a fact of that. Well, how do you turn him back around? Like Eddie Howe, might well do that, but at this point, where the player's head seems to be, and the fact that he's got his agent coming out and putting things, articles out, etc. How are those Newcastle players going to feel going into, going into big Champions League games and big Premier League games with him? Knowing when the January transfer window comes around, he's going to be trying to shift off anyway. And when the following window comes around, he's going to be doing it again. Do you know what I mean?
And it's going to be cheaper. And Newcastle have got to look at themselves. They've got to look at the bigger picture. I said this morning. They've got to look at the bigger picture. And this is not being patronising to Newcastle either. If you sell him, you get obviously maybe 130 up to 150 million pounds in. Yeah. Then you can start looking at building that squad up. If you keep him, you're keeping a player that's unhappy. Yeah. And you're going to suffer elsewhere in the squad. And this year, Jake, they need that squad.
Massively. They're in the Champions League again. They need to look to do that again to even keep Isak remotely interested, if he even is still there. It's funny as well because I've said this a couple of times now. We was in a similar position with Philippe Coutinho a few years back where we didn't want him to go. We went to Barca and we got, was it about 130, something like that? We got that much money for him, which would be a similar fee for Isak. Look how we rebuilt that squad with that Coutinho money. Newcastle can look at that, and Newcastle do need to improve that squad massively. So I think Newcastle should look at that, cash in. Don't have a player there that is upset in the dressing room because, as you've already said, the players, they already know. Players aren't dumb, Players talk about money, contracts, etc. They'd have all been in the WhatsApp or on the personal messages saying, "Oh, look, I want to go here, there," as you've seen with the Instagram posts. So, I think he knows that he wants to go. The players around him know that he wants to go. So it's just going to be a toxic atmosphere and a dressing room that Newcastle really don't need. They've got a big season coming up, especially if he does stay or go. I think it's going to be bad either way, to be perfectly honest. So no, best thing for Newcastle, I think, is to sell him now because, as you said, if he goes, next summer, he's only got 2 years on his contract. It brings that fee down, which Newcastle are then going to miss out on. There was talks of offering him he wanted that 300k a week, which I just think is ridiculous because if Newcastle then give him that, what's Bruno Guimaraes going to ask for? What's Tonali going to ask for? You're just going to break the whole wage structure of the club. So he needs to go.
I've seen Newcastle fans now saying that Liverpool are going to pay 300k a week. If he comes to Liverpool, he's going to accept less. I can absolutely assure you that.
Yeah.
He's not getting 300k a week at Liverpool, regardless.
Won't be anywhere near it.
All that anyway, to players that come straight in. One question before I do go on to some breaking news, actually. So one thing I want to say before. So B said, I mean that you just made his day. Thanks for letting me see and that look of amazement on his face. Thank you so much for Beefy for giving me that moment as well. I want to ask you, Beefy, ask Brendan if he's excited for Alexander Isak. Ask him if he's excited for Alexander Isak to sign for Liverpool. Hi, Beefy, Jen, Daniel, Damon, Jake. That's a very long, very long list there for DB there. And most important, Brendan, he said there. Of course, you agree. Anybody with this brain agrees, lad. Just going to get something up 1 second. I'll get down our chat. Let's see if we wait for Saudi bid. We know what to offer. Our best signings are Rich and Michael, said Jen. We're in the best position. Isak holds the cards, not Newcastle, said Beefy. I think Newcastle still holds some cards. They absolutely do. If Newcastle still say he's absolutely adamant not for sale, he can't really. What's he going to do? And transfer request in? Strike.
Yeah, if he's going to make it worse for himself if he does that. Because then you're not going to go for a player that's not playing or training because they're going to be match fit. No.
I'm still taking Verts over Isak. I'm sorry, but he's the most unexpected signing for us, as we all knew Isak wanted us. I didn't know Isak wanted us until really now. How are you doing, Jonathan? Smash those likes, said Jen. Make sure we can get up to 100 likes. That would be unbelievable, Jonathan. Jonathan, I hope you're doing okay tonight. What's your opinion now on Jonathan, on who is our regular Newcastle fan? What is your opinion on the situation? Are you starting to lean towards acceptance of him leaving? So let me go up the Paul Joyce breaking news. So two big news stories from Paul Joyce right now. Liverpool are still interested in Alexander Isak, but the situation is not straightforward. Unless there is a shift in Newcastle's position that the striker is not for sale, then Liverpool remain admirers from afar. Like I said, it is all on Newcastle. They do hold the cards right now. They also then went on to mention about Darwin Nunez. Al Ali are considering a bid for Darwin Nunez. So, as exactly what I've just been saying there about him, Ryan, about Alexander Isak, unless Newcastle change their stance on him, we can't go for him. Do you think that shift is going to happen, though? That's the question.
Yeah, I think it's more a case of, for example, if they were to put it out there that they're willing to accept, say 130 million, 120 million, whatever, and Liverpool go in and bid before they have a replacement lined up, that really weakens your bargaining hand when you go into sign his replacement. Now, obviously, we know they're in talks for Benjamin Sesko. We know Bayern Munich are looking at Luis Diaz. I wouldn't be surprised if the next 5-6 days sees a sort of like a little domino effect of, we agree something with Bayern Munich, that then doesn't result, but after that, then you hear about Newcastle agreeing something with Sesko, and then you hear about Liverpool agreeing something with with Newcastle or along those lines. I've said for a couple of weeks, as you know, that I believe Eddie Howe is open to letting Alexander Isak leave. I think as an ex-player himself, and his comments after the Celtic game sort of alluded to that. They're now looking at replacements. You don't, like I said before, you don't look at replacements if you've got a not for sale stance on your player and, he's not leaving whatsoever. We have a not for sale stance on Mohamed Salah. So it's probably quite likely that we're not looking at right wingers. let alone, going and negotiating personal terms with other right wingers. They're doing that for Benjamin Sesko and Visser, whilst also having Isak, and they're definitely not going to have 3 strikers. So yeah, I think it's just all part of controlling the story, I would say.
Just for last says here, Newcastle don't hold the cards. The players have too much power in today's game. Unfortunately, I do agree with that. I do agree that the players do have too much power in the game. Unfortunately, today, but at the end of the day, he's got 3 years left on his contract, and if Isak can kick up a fuss all he wants, if Newcastle don't accept a bid, they don't accept a bid. They still have some cards, but it might be playing their cards to their detriment at the same time. If they do keep a player, if they do keep him, they're keeping him on my pay, and they can't go and progress in other parts of the squad. Yep. But they still hold some form of cards. But I do agree with you in terms of, I do think the play power is too much this time. Paul Joyce also said another little bit as well about Luis Diaz. A new offer in the region of 70 million to 75 million euros is expected to come from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz, but that would seemingly remain way below the sort of figure that may tempt Liverpool. We spoke about this morning. Apparently, there was a bid this morning in to Florian Plettenberg, but I've not seen anyone else say that, and it was quite low. Should we get a couple more things out? Rodrigo, what happened if Isak happens? Says just for laughs. I feel the same if Isak comes. If Florian Wirtz's still our best signing, and that's what generational talent. Newcastle have said he's not for sale, but if Isak and the transfer question, then that's a different matter. I think Isak, if he does have the transfer question, it's a lot of ramifications for that because he's got to pay up some compensation fee because he's still got 3 years on his contract. But he still might do if Liverpool pay up that contract. Then again, it's going to be a lot of money anyway we're paying out. Are we going to put towards that compensation? I don't know. But yeah, it's right now. Isak, I want to say I'm like 60% sure he might sign. But again, like I said, it's a still very difficult deal to make because Newcastle still are very adamant that they want to sell him. However, Newcastle fans are starting to accept it now a bit more, Ryan. They're saying, let's just go get Sesko, let's go get Visser, get Isak gone, get him. I think that narrative and that energy I'm seeing changing is giving me more hope.
Yeah, I think obviously if it's more acceptable in the wider Newcastle fan base, then obviously the club. I don't think clubs pay too much attention to online fan approval regarding transfers personally, but obviously it helps soften the blow if you're losing a player. Ultimately, you see it with us with Trent and stuff like that. The second that you see a new player taking photographs holding up the shirt, you sort of forget what's been and gone anyway. So, as football fans, we're a fickle bunch, and that's just part of it. The main one for me is there is. So first of all, I want to circle back to the Diaz one and ask you two as well. So the narrative over the past couple of days has been like, well, if Liverpool sell Luis Diaz, then there'll be an opening for Alexander Isak. But then there's also been others that have been saying that Liverpool's finances, Paul Joyce included, Liverpool's finances are so strong that they wouldn't need to sell and they'd still be in line with PSR. I think the Diaz bid might get rejected and will scare Bayern Munich off whilst we wait for Saudi. I don't know about you two, but I actually think that outgoings doesn't matter with this Isak deal right now to get that over the line. I think it'd be more if we got Isak over the line, then there would be a real push to try and get one of them out of the door, Darwin or Diaz to Saudi. I don't think the deal actually hinges on us selling one of them first. I've said it all summer. I think Liverpool are playing the waiting game with Diaz to bring the Saudis in. So I don't know what you think.
I get that.
Yeah, massively. I think it would help though if maybe before we do shift the likes of Nunez and Diaz, then we've already got the money, but then we've got here's even we've got proof that we've got the money because there's a load of crap going around that Liverpool can't spend. We can spend. We've earned the money. Adidas deal coming through in the next week or so. That's going to be worth quite a bit. We've just won the league, done well in the Champions League. We've got the money, and people do know that. So yeah, I'm not fussed either way if we bring Isak in first or Diaz goes first, but as long as we get Isak, I'll be all right.
Someone said up here once. I'm just going to get it up 1 second. So there, Jonathan. There, Jonathan said, "Will Liverpool be upset if Isak does not go to Liverpool?" I think there will be a bit of disappointment. I won't say upset because, like I said, we've already got Ekitike in the door. We're desperate for a striker. I think we definitely need them forward, especially if Diaz and Nunez go. We definitely need them forward. But I'm not going to say upset. I say Isak's just a bonus.
I think
a big bonus.
Isak was never. We didn't go into the window going, right, we want Isak, because if that was our goal, he'd have been in a red shirt weeks ago. You know, we went into this window looking, we need to improve the squad as a whole. You know, Frimpong, Kirkes, what's his name? Is it? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. My mind completely went there. That's really bad. You know, they were our targets, and, you know, look how quick we got them done. There was no messing around, really. So if we went into the window wanting Isak, it'd have been done. Isak's always been a bonus. It's always sort of been there going, oh, you do know we might be going to Liverpool. It's always been in the background. Whereas if I think, you know, we sit there and we go, right, Isak, we'll get him, no problem.
DB says here, please smash that like and sub if you are new on here. Road to 2K. Let's get that done before the Palace game, people. Ambitious, but not impossible. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it is ambitious, but it's not impossible. If you can hit that subscribe button, if you are new, subscribe and join us at Talking Reds. We were going to be giving you the latest of Liverpool news. And I tell you now, much more this season. Much more plans in terms of the streams and the episodes we're going to do on here. Truth says Isak's not coming, unfortunately. Newcastle should accept Liverpool's bid, otherwise they'll lose out on Sesko. Like I said, I do think Newcastle need to sort that out this quite quickly.
Yeah,
they absolutely do. They need to then focus on their own signings, getting a team together for pre-season now, which has already started, and the season coming up. It's only over a month away till season starts. Just about a month away till the season starts, which is not long at all.
3 weeks today, isn't it?
Exactly. So, Jen Beefy said, Abra, good evening, Abra, as well. How are you doing tonight? Is that the truth? No pun intended. Or is it very good times ahead for Liverpool this season, says Abra as well. Yep. I'm just going to get some more up. Newcastle stance is that they're hoping Isak changes his mind. Liverpool are not bidding until that door is open. Maybe if Sesko is going to Newcastle, then they may have to sell Isak. I think if they bring Sesko in or Wissa in, I think that door slightly opens for Isak even quicker. I think they're trying to focus on getting those replacements in first, but then again, will they be able to afford that until they sell Isak?
Yeah,
that's the issue. Jen says, "Come on, guys, smash those likes. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes tonight, guys. 100 likes for Alexander Isak and coming to Liverpool. As I said earlier, Saliba and Saka next season has 1 year left at Arsenal deal and want to go to a winning club." Said Adam, that would be hilarious. I said that this morning. It would be absolutely hilarious. And Daniel said Isak will be a red. It's when, not if. Bruno also said £120 bid with 10 million add-ons. She'll get the deal done. Try not to lowball them with 90 million offers because we will be thrown out of the door. I think we go in for maybe. I think we sort of look at it as the Verts deal, the 10 million plus the some add-ons. But I think it's going to be. I think it'd be slightly more than obviously Flying Verts. Was it 120? Flying Verts 115, 120 in the end.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think it'd be more than that, but a lot of it will be installments and add-ons into that. I agree that Newcastle, if Newcastle put that price on him, it's their goal scorer. It's the guy that gets them the wins.
Yeah.
And he's not only got him that, he got him a cup, and he also got him Champions League football last season. Yeah. A big part of what it is for me, probably the most complete forward in world football right now.
Yep.
At the age that he is, obviously there's Lewandowski and Kane, but they're getting on to their latter years of their career. So definitely one of the best in the world right now for me. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on Alexander Isak in the comments. And Ekitike as well. Also, Ekitike, unfortunately, didn't get the hype that he has got this week because all the talk's been about Isak. Ekitike has signed for Liverpool this week for £69 million plus £10 million in add-ons. He is a red. Although we're saying about Isak potentially being a red, Ekitike is a red. He is now in Hong Kong with the squad and playing on the training pitch with them. And we will probably see him tomorrow against AC Milan. So that's exciting. And Newcastle fans did say they want Ekitike and Isak playing together. We said they're not going to play as a 4-4-2. I think the way Slot plays this season, I think he's going to find different ways of beating teams, different formations. I think he'll try. Sometimes we might see Ekitike and Isak on the same pitch. If Isak comes in, is going to be number one. Let's be honest. And that's no detriment to Ekitike, is it, Ryan? Because Ekitike is a young lad, still got plenty of potential. He still needs developing on maybe sometimes his finishing, sometimes his decision making, but that comes with age and experience.
Yeah, I think I was just reading then because Paul Joyce's article carries on, and then Chris Markham, I think it is, so I'll read it word for word because it'll probably make light on that Ekitike signing. New Liverpool signing Hugo Ekitike's admission that he wants to be a multifunctional forward could have implications for another Liverpool forward. Luis Diaz's future at Anfield has been widely speculated, and the new addition's willingness to play in that position could put more pressure on the Colombian's place in the team. Now, I think signing Hugo Ekitike gives us so much more than just, obviously a new number 9. He played in the front two with Marmoush, and it was going very, very well until obviously he moved in January to City. But Hugo, in his interview today, if you've not watched it with Liverpool, the first official interview, mentions about the fact that he likes to come in like the wide areas. He feels like he can play on the wing, etc. I agree with you, Damo, that I think Arne Slot's looking for multifunctional ways to win games, but not in the sense of having to always make 4 or 5 subs to do it. Just players who've got tactical and positional flexibility to move around mid game. I think that PSG game has like really, really like inspired him in the ideas that he had. There will 100% be times next season if Isak signs where both of them are on the pitch with Salah. And I also think there'll be plenty of times when they start as well together with Salah, and it's Ekitike off the left, Isak through the middle, Salah on the right with Wirtz in the 10. Which sounds absolutely delightful, by the way, if Liverpool fancy making that happen for us. But yeah, I think I honestly think the signing of Hugo Ekitike can be as transformational as Alexander Isak. It just probably won't be as appreciated as much. I wouldn't be surprised if Ekitike's career goes similar to his signing over these past couple of days, where everything he sort of does just gets sort of like overshadowed by Alexander Isak and Mohamed Salah and Florian Wirtz. Yeah, I think he'll be maybe similar to a Gini Wijnaldum kind of signing, in the sense of you don't really appreciate just how much he affects what we do, just because there's slightly bigger names around him. But the reality is he's an absolutely fantastic footballer who's got the potential to be world class. And that's why Liverpool paid, 69, raising to 79 million for him.
Just for I say, Liverpool will not play 2 up top if Isak signs. They don't have the depth to play 2 up top, to stack in central midfield to play 2 up top as well. I think it's a different kind of 4-4-2.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a different kind of 4-4-2. It won't be standard, as Bruno said here, Sam Allardyce 4-4-2. No. 4-4-2. It would be like Ekitike could sort of play left of Isak, or I'd say Ekitike could maybe behind and have Salah and Wirtz as like your inside forward sort of thing, behind like a 4-2-3-1, but like a 2. Keep swapping around. But I think you could see that sort of formation in certain times. Not at the start of games. I'd say in certain times. The only games I see it starting with like a 4-4-2, as people want to say, it'd be like a 4-2-4 really. Sort of formation.
If Liverpool don't sign another forward after Alexander Isak, then you will see that 4-4-2, because you'll see it when Salah goes to AFCON.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. And it'd be like a 4-2-4, especially in attack. And I think that you'll see that more against maybe lower teams, if that. For me, I think it's more of when we're losing games. If we are losing games at any point, or we need to chase a game, we will see that more attacking.
If you remember though, so obviously when Arne Slot first took over, we played a 4-4-2 with 2 midfielders as the strikers, because we started the tour without an out front number 9 apart from Diogo Jota. But then, do you remember the period in the season? It was around Manchester City away where, we went to Manchester City away and we played two 10s, like 2 forwards in a 4-2-4.
Szoboszlai and Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you're doing that with an Alexander Isak and a Hugo Ekitike, like these people need to make sure they understand that these aren't just big dopey number 9s that you oof the ball up to in a 4-4-2. These are fantastic footballers who can come out wide, play between the lines, drop deep. It's not England, Sven-Goran Eriksson 4-4-2, get it up to Heskey and Rooney. You know, it's a 4-2-4, as Damo's saying, with a lot of pace, a lot of power, trickery between the lines, the ability to defend in a solid shape. Like, it will happen because it's a 150 million pound footballer and a 79 million pound footballer. If you can get them on the pitch together and it works, you're talking at least 60 goals and assists combined there from two players. Of course, you're going to try and get them on the pitch together when you can.
Daniel said here, lads, give us a prediction date when Isak joins. Ryan, do not say next week, mate. All right, all right then. All three of us, you in the chat as well, guys. Everyone in the chat, give a date, a specific date as well. Let's see who gets the closest. This is on record, remember, so we can always go back and check. So my date for Isak joining, if he does join, I think it will be. Let's have a look at that. It's the 25th.
Wait. Are we talking like the club's official announcement, or are we talking?
Yeah, official announcement. That makes it more legit. I think.
But it has to be by the club. It can't be David Ornstein being
Liverpool
like
FC Twitter officially announcing.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna say.
Let me get this.
The 12th of August.
12th. Oh.
I'm going to go August the 15th.
August 15th. Right, well, Daniel said I can't.
Season there? Isn't that where we'll play?
August 15th, yeah. That's Bournemouth at home. Friday night.
Is that can walk onto Anfield and stand innovation?
yeah, we don't even announce it. We just announce it on Anfield.
He just walks out. Like
with his shirt like that.
It'd be like when we signed Raul. If you don't remember, when we signed Raul Morales, we didn't actually announce it. He just walked on the pitch like pre-game. He just came out.
I think they should do that more often, you know. That'd be ace.
So Daniel's saying I can't say a week because on Late Night Reds last night I said it'll be a week, so it'll be the following Thursday. So I'll say a week today then. So I'll say the first of August, and he'll be in training ready for the Bilbao game on Monday the 4th.
Oh, so you think he's going to make the Bilbao game? We think he's going to make I think he's going to make the Bournemouth game. You think Bilbao? You think obviously his first game will be Newcastle. He's not going to play that night if he's announced that day.
Let's do it, man. There we go.
Forever LSC said, "Evening lads and chat. How is it going to happen? I have absolutely no doubt Isak will be wearing a LFC shirt. I hope so, my friend. I absolutely hope so. It would be unbelievable." 4231 has so much fluidity. Like I said, I think he'll keep changing it. I think it will be 4. I think his main priority is 4-2-3-1. That's what I'll do. It's Ekitike up front, Isak up front. I like the option in some games. If we've got Gehi and we've got an Isak or an Ekitike, whichever, I like the 4-3-4-3. You know, with Frimpong and Kirkes out wide with Salah and Wirtz as like 2 10s.
Yeah,
I like the thought of that in some games. But like I said, I think he will change it up. 4-2-3-1 will be the standard.
Yeah.
But like I said, it'd be like a 4-2-4 in attack. It's all you see now how good Slot is this season. You see how tactical minded he is. He wants to change things up. That Fulham game was a very, very, very good thing to see as well. 1st of August at DB. I think that Fulham game was very, very good because we saw him losing and we saw him go for it.
Yeah. And
that's what I think he wants to do. I think this season, Arne Slot wants to overload that box. Salah, Gakpo, whoever's out wide will come inside. If Ekitike is there, Ekitike goes left. It makes space for someone, a midfielder to come in or the right back to come in, which Frimpong will go. I think it will overload boxes this season for me. 23rd of August said Daniel. Forever LSC said Tuesday. So 23rd of August, if he's signed that day, he could perhaps play against Newcastle on the 25th. So that's a Saturday, said Daniel there. Friday he'll sign. That's my birthday, Beefy. So next Friday. So happy birthday for next Friday. I'm sure I'll say it again next week. 5th of August said Adam. 6th, 5th. All going quite early, you know. 1st of August, DB. That is exactly the same as you, isn't it, Ryan? Like and subscribe, said Kazia as well. Thank you so much for that, mate. Will be before the 10th, so they can walk out at Wembley. We will not play 3 at the back. It will take a lot more work in the training ground to play 3 at the back. I think at times they can play that. A bit like we did against Fulham. We had to go 3 at the back of the fight and get everyone forward.
Yeah, it might not start. It might not start as 3 at the back with three central defenders. But what I think Damo's alluding to more is like in possession, it'll sort of shift to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it does already, because you see Connor Bradley basically plays as one of the number 10s at the moment with how high he's playing up the pitch. But yeah, I think so. There's a lot of early predictions there, but I agree with your point that you made before, Damo, that everyone involved wants this done quickly, obviously including Alexander Isak. You don't want any distractions coming into the start of the Premier League season if you're Newcastle. You are on tour at the moment where you've got 3 games in 12 days. You need Sesko on that tour as quick as possible to get him bedding in, because he's going to have to start the Premier League season as your number 9. Vissa looks like it's going to get done this weekend. The main reason I think it can all happen quick is I don't think it's a vert situation when it comes to the fee. Liverpool have been in dialogue for like a little bit now with Newcastle. I believe personally that Liverpool and Newcastle both have an understanding and an agreement of what it would take. Nobody wants to dick about and mess around with this. If Newcastle want a package of around close to 150 million, and maybe there's a little bit of wiggle room there, they'll have already expressed that to Liverpool, and Liverpool have already told them, that we're happy to pay a British transfer record fee. If Newcastle open that door for a split second, I don't see us messing around with this one personally, because the importance of getting the player in before the season starts and getting him settled is probably more important than saving, a couple of million, especially when you've got Diaz, Elliot, and Nunez to still shift, and the centre half in Mark Gay potentially to sign. I don't see a world in where Liverpool like dick about with this one. The second that Newcastle go, right, let's talk figures, put them on the table, I just think it gets done like that personally.
I think Newcastle can't take the time. They can't. They ain't got time to take. They've got 5 weeks left. They've bought Elanga. So they either decide now that they keep a player that's unhappy, or cash in on him and go build a squad for the season, because they've got Champions League this season. It's going to be they need those squad depth, and I mean the midfield's got nothing. Longstaff is gone. They've got Luis Miller's depth. That's about it really. Luis Miller. Centre back needs some, and then you need a striker or 2. So they need to really sort that out ASAP. And I think what I will say, I think this weekend is important. This next 48 hours, maybe up to Monday, 72 hours, is really, really important. Really important for Newcastle to decide what they're doing. And we'll probably find out over the weekend.
I agree. I think if Benjamin Sesko agrees personal terms with Newcastle this weekend, like they're trying to thrash out, if that happens, then I think you'll see movement on Liverpool to ease that, really heat up. One of the main reasons being as well that Leipzig have said if Sesko agrees to move to a club where he feels like it's an important project and it's a development for his career, in other words, not the Saudi league, then a deal for 60 million euros can be done to the Bayern club. You're talking 35 mil for Vissot, and then you're talking 60 mil for for Sesko. That's 2 strikers plus a little bit of pocket change left to go and get a centre half, which solves a few of Newcastle's issues. For their one striker. One thing I would say to Newcastle fans, look at it this way. Will Benjamin Sesko and Vissot score 25 Premier League goals for you next season combined? I would say yeah. I think they're more than capable of doing that. Would you rather then have one player score those 25 goals, or 2 players score them 25 goals, offer more depth, and have change left over for a centre half where you've got issues?
Exactly.
Don't look at it in the way that you love Alexander Isak, because that's sometimes how we can get clouded. Look at it of the facts and figures and the contributions. What Alexander Isak contributes to Newcastle in the sense of numbers can be replicated. Listen, you might not love Sesko the same way that you love Alexander Isak the first second he comes through the door, but he's going to grow on you. Of course he is.
And they'll have Bitter with him anyway, so there's not
exactly.
neither of him.
If Newcastle can replace Alexander Isak's goals with 2 strikers and a centre half, it's the Coutinho moment. It's just an absolute no-brainer for them. Absolute no-brainer. And this is why I think Eddie Howe has been so open to letting the player leave. I don't think he's looking at it the way that PIF are and saying, well, no, he's our star player. We love and adore him. Benjamin Sesko is a huge name in football, and he'll score half of the goals that Isak will. Visser will score the goals. You've then got 2 strikers for a Champions League campaign rather than 1. It just makes so much sense to everybody involved that I don't see how this deal doesn't go through personally.
For sure, Daniel. Here, I know Newcastle fans will hate Liverpool for a while. There are going to be Newcastle YouTube sites, whatever YouTube sites are on that do Newcastle pages. They're going to be hate-alongs this year for Liverpool. I'm absolutely certain about that. And if not, they're going to be on TikTok. They're going to be hate-alongs on TikTok. Absolutely. We have now got a rival with Newcastle. It's all one-sided there. Yeah. We don't give a shit.
No.
But yeah, let's move on to Diaz. Obviously, expected a bid now for Diaz, Jake, from Bayern. I said this morning I'd take 65 to 70 million pounds for him.
Yeah. 100%. I'm with you there.
Think they're offering that. Was it 62 million? I think they're offering next.
It wasn't what, in an ideal world, it would be 65, even 70. But, what they offered before, was it like it was like 52 or something daft like that? Oh, yeah, they're taking a mick with that. They're trying to get it going. But, yeah, 65 to 70, I think is really good for Diaz. I mean, look at his season last year. 25 goals, really good player, didn't really hardly get injured to my knowledge. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I just don't think he did. Really good, solid player for Liverpool. But I think a move away is inevitable. I think going into the transfer market, we kind of knew someone would come in for Diaz because I don't know. You always get the feeling with Diaz, he was never settled. If you know what I mean. So it is. I do think he needs to go out the door. Yeah, personally, but. Then it's like, do we get rid of Diaz and Nunez? It's a hard one because you've got to look at it as well. It is going to be, a 60, 70 game season if we do go deep into all 4 competitions, which should we looking at doing? We're one of the biggest clubs. We should be doing that anyway. That should be like a minimum, really. And having them options off the bench of being able to bring on, Diaz, Nunez, Isak. It's one of them. I think 65 70 is fair, but I think if they are offering the low 60s and we really do want to push this Isak deal to get done, I think just take it.
Yeah. Move him on. And if it does, obviously we don't need him to go, but it does help towards that stuff. It does help towards that stuff. What Ryan said, they cash in and improve, so our best Swedish player goes to my club. So Fred came on this morning. He's from Sweden and he's a Liverpool fan. He will be
nice.
all the way home. All the way home. If Isak joins Liverpool, that is absolutely perfect for him. And I said this morning how interesting it would be: Isak, Liverpool, Gyökeres, Arsenal. That Swedish head-to-head this season would be absolutely sensational watch.
Yeah,
it would be the Nunez how we thought it were going to be, but I think this actually will be an absolute head-to-head between both of them. Both unbelievable strikers, both goal-scoring machines, playing for the possibly 2 favourites. I'd say right now, I still say Arsenal second favourites. Because of last season, and I think if they are improving the striker, and if they get an Eze as well, that's brilliant as well.
Yeah,
Nunez is going to get as the Saudi when I said, be fair, £52 million is a rubbish offer. I wouldn't even pick up the phone. Fred, welcome for the Reds family, said Daniel. I think he's been in the Reds family for a long time, Fred. But yeah, I hope Fred's just absolutely buzzing. If he's, I think we're all going to be buzzing, but Fred especially being a Swedish as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Diaz for me, 65 to 70 million pounds for me. Ryan, how likely is it for him to leave now? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's. I'd say it edges more towards him leaving than staying, especially after the fact that he's expressed obviously an interest to leave. What I will say though is I think they reject the 65 million pound from Bayern Munich. The tagline from your more reliable Liverpool journalists, like with Paul Joyce, and that has been that that Bruno Fernandes bid has basically shown Saudi's hand of what they're willing to pay, and Liverpool believe that Luis Diaz is, has had a better season and is more influential than Bruno Fernandes. Same age, same contract length, and I think the main sticking point with Saudi not getting involved with Diaz yet has been the fact that he hasn't wanted to go to Saudi.
Yeah.
However, that Carl Mackham part then was quite interesting in saying that if Liverpool's
where the you?
Are you in the toilet or something?
I tried to join
Harry Potter's bedroom.
I tried to join when it kept going off. And
That's Harry Potter's bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, that looks like a changing room. I've changed in last season.
It is. I just wanted to do that. That's all I wanted to do. Jump on, do that.
Are you staying with us?
Yeah, I'll stay with you.
I got some spells to do.
Yeah, I'll stay with you.
So, coming back to that point about Diaz and Saudi, he's been reluctant to go to Saudi, it seems, so far. But that Carl Mackham report about Ekitike is probably now in the pecking order ahead of Diaz at left wing as well as Gakpo. It feels like Liverpool are sort of pushing it into a situation of where it's like, look, we're not going to be taking Bayern Munich's low offers. We're willing to negotiate with Saudi. You either go to Saudi, for a fee that we're happy with, or you stay here and you're probably being, third, fourth choice attacker, maybe even fifth choice attacker, in a season where obviously they're going for World Cup qualification, etc. I don't see him going Bayern. I think we reject the bid, and I think similar to Nunez, I think we're just holding out for that Saudi money for him.
It's hard to hold out for that, though, isn't it? It's hard to hold out for because you're not certain a Saudi club comes in. I'll say Al Ahly, I've been reported now to be coming in for Nunez, which is perfect. I think Nunez. I think he goes to Saudi now.
If Darwin Nunez goes, then there's even less reason to sell Luis Diaz then, because you've got Diaz and Gakpo at left wing, Ekitike and Alexander Isak if he comes in at striker, and then you've got Frimpong and probably Mohamed Salah at right wing. So if Liverpool can push Darwin Nunez out the door, then there's even less reason to sell Luis Diaz this summer, unless they were dead set on Rodrigo and they thought it was this summer only. But I'm not too sure their interest in Rodrigo is to the point of that kind of desperation. I think it's more, it's a potential good opportunity for a player who doesn't come around, that often. But the left winger market at the moment it's not the worst in the world. Luis Diaz staying isn't the worst situation. If Liverpool feel like Al Hilal is serious about Darwin Nunez, then 100% they reject Bayern Munich's offer, in my opinion.
Naj, are you there?
Yeah, I mean,
here we go. But yeah, I'm going to ask you this question then, Naj. Regarding Diaz, obviously he wants to go, and Liverpool want to keep him. What's your stance on that? Would you keep a player that doesn't want to be here?
No. I like Diaz. I keep saying this. I do like him. I think he's a great player, but I don't know. I think we're at this point now where if people don't want to be here, then there's more room for another player to come in who wants to be here. And yeah, I would have Rodrigo over Diaz. I think it is an upgrade. I don't think Anthony Gordon's an upgrade when people keep saying this. People keep forcing that. I think he's got a higher ceiling. That's sort of a thing. I just don't really fancy Gordon. I think if he comes in, it's a downgrade. For me, next season, Gakpo is my first choice anyway, out on the left, because I think he's much more clinical than Diaz. Even though Diaz is good, I just think he's more clinical. But yeah, no, I don't want him. If he wants, like say, his dad keeps begging it. Everyone keeps begging it. His entourage, like, oh, let's go. Or we'll go to Barcelona. We'll go. If you want to go. Go and sit in the league.
It's probably off field drama we don't really need.
Yeah, exactly. We've just had it, haven't we, with Trent? So we don't need it again, do we? So
exactly. a lot of chat saying think Diaz and Nunez are going to go. I still think Diaz and Nunez are going to go. I think Elliot's going to go. It's a shame about Elliot. It seems like he clearly wants to stay, but he also accepted that if I want first team football, if I want to get into the World Cup squad this year, then I must have to go to get first team football.
Yeah.
Nunez, Jake, possibly now off Al Ahly, might put up the money for him. How much do you think we can get for him from Al Ahly?
I think if you're talking Saudi money, I think probably upwards of 50, 55, maybe even 60 if they're being generous. But I'd take 50 for Nunez, if I'm being perfectly honest. We're not going to make the money back that we brought him for. That's just simple as that. We brought Nunez expecting a different type of player. We didn't get that with Nunez. So I think cash in while we can. You know, as Nard said with Diaz, no point having someone here who doesn't want to be here. And I think even in like January, there was whispers of like Darwin potentially moving on. So it's always been known for a while that Nunez was probably going to move on this window. It just hasn't worked out. I don't think Slot rates him. You know, the fans always get behind him. We always chant Nunez. I think that is a bit of banter as well because, you know, Nunez is fucking... He has his days, doesn't he? But I think, yeah, we could stretch to 55, maybe even 60 for Nunez. But I think that's being... I mean, look at, you know... For example, Alanga's just gone for 60 mil with the Diaz situation. Diaz is better than Alanga. So I think if you talk about the Diaz situation, Diaz has got to go for more. But I do then look at that and go, can we afford to lose Diaz and Nunez? Talking with squad depth, I mean, I don't know what you guys think on that. I'm still a bit 50-50 with that about losing them both. Say, for example, if we don't bring in Isak and then Isak and Diaz do go, where does that leave the squad?
Someone brought up an interesting point there. Daniel said that about Wirtz. What Paul Jai said about Wirtz is quite similar to what he's saying now about Isak. So Ryan also basically asked, you know, what do you think about that situation with both of them as well?
If Alexander Isak comes in, then it's probably not a.
It's not the worst, no.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
Yeah.
You'd be more concerned, wouldn't you, if it was a case of like we sold Nunez, we sold Diaz, and then it was like, oh crap, like could probably do with getting a bit of business done here. But that's why I'm saying I don't think any outgoings happen before signing in an Alexander Isak. What I would say is if both Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz go plus Chiesa, and that leaves us then with Gakpo, Isak, Ekitike, Salah. If we are dead set on not seeing Florian Wirtz as one of the forward options, and we see him as a midfielder, and it's probably too soon for Rio Engamoa. Bendo looks like he's going to move on. Then I'd expect Liverpool to make a move for that fifth attacker.
Yeah,
I genuinely, hand on heart, I still think there's a good chance that Luis Diaz stays. We had five attackers come the back end of the season. Sorry, the back end of the last summer transfer window, and Slot wanted 6 and made the move for Chiesa. If you sell Chiesa, Doak, Diaz and Nunez and only bring in Alexander Isak, you then need 2 attackers to get back up to that number of 6. People are saying, you know, Frimpong might go in there, and I understand that. I appreciate that. However, it's not like a situation where Frimpong, if Salah got injured or whatever, could go and play 30 games as the right winger. Do you know what I mean?
no.
That's just not doable. It's just a player who gives us that little bit of luxury in a time of desperate need. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool keep Diaz for a season whilst they analyse the left wing market more.
No.
Diaz, Gakpo, left wing, Alexander Isak and Ekitike as the strikers, and then it's Salah, and potentially sign for Fana and someone else after Nunez leaves, or it is 5 for the season with Frimpong giving us that flexibility. I just don't, especially if Alexander Isak comes in because of the money and the wages that'll cost. I don't see how Liverpool can get rid of 4 attackers and only bring in 2 when Slot already thought we were short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't see a world in where that happens.
Yeah.
I'm still here, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still here. My phone's like on an angle, so okay, you just be looking at a wall. I've put it on charge. I do apologise, but yeah, I am still here.
Just admit your uncle and your auntie and uncle and your cousins back at the house, so you can't get out of the closet.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
You know what they're like in that house. But yeah, regarding, I just want to speak about Rio Angamoa as well and his development, because he has been impressive again, and it's in training. He's been impressive since ever since he come to Liverpool, really, joining from Chelsea. And we're looking at this situation now with Diaz goes. He is literally the backup to Gakpo.
Yeah,
That is it. He's the backup. Also, Verts can play left. Ekitike can play left if needs be. But he is pretty much the backup to Gakpo. Jake, I think that's not a dangerous thing to do. But I do think he needs that first team football next year. I think it will see him regardless, no matter who we bring in. I think we'll see him in the first team next year quite a bit. But we don't want to push him in too hard.
It is a risk, a massive risk. You know, as you said, he will get minutes. You know, Carabao Cup games, he'll probably be coming on for the last 5-10 minutes if we're winning or whatever, just to get him going, get some minutes of, you know, Premier League first team football. But yeah, it's a massive risk. You know, as we always talk, but we're going to be going for Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, you know, hopefully the Cups as well. So we're going to need, you know, Gakpo can't play 60 games. He tried it with Grafenberg, got to February and Grafenberg was dead. Gakpo can't play 60 games. It doesn't matter. So I think having Rio as your like second choice is a massive risk. I mean, you know, we know about risks. It could pay off. It could turn out to be absolutely amazing. But is that likely? No. He's not ready yet for me to be given that opportunity. You know, we saw it with Conor Bradley a couple of years ago. You know, he played a couple of minutes here and there, and everyone was like, "Wow, this guy's a serious player." And then, you know, look at Bradley now, going to be fighting with Frimpong for that right back spot. So no, I think it's too soon. Maybe next season, but at the minute, too soon.
And obviously, with Salah's contract runs out in 2 years, we have to look at that replacement at some point. But like I said, the more we do this summer, and we get an Isak in, and we might get another winger in if Diaz goes.
Yeah.
Then I think we only need like 1 or 2 signs every summer, maybe even 1.
Yeah.
We are now being proactive, which is brilliant.
To be honest, I'm not even going to put it to be too abrupt or quickly. I think he looks ready, Ngamoa. I do. I think he does. I don't mean ready to go and play 38 Premier League games.
Yeah.
I think he's ready to step into the second man behind Gakpo. You know, like Jay said, you know, he's not going to play 60 games this season. Yeah, he's not. And obviously we've got a lot of tactical fluidity, as we like to say. You know, we've seen Szoboszlai play out on the wides and the left from time to time last season. And like you say, Verts can play there, and you know, obviously you've got Gakpo already. I think he's definitely ready to take that next step now. I think, you know, him being the deputy behind Gakpo will be great for him, really. You know, he's getting to sort of learn off someone who's sort of coming into the prime, if you get what I mean. I don't think he's quite there yet, Gakpo, but he's definitely more than good enough. So I think I think, you know, the hype around him, I've not heard a hype around a young player like this for a long time. You know, not since Trent, really, actually, to be honest. And, you know, you can see, you know, there's only training videos and stuff like that, but he's absolutely smoking 50, 60 capped international players and stuff like that. You know, you're just all right, you know, you're a serious player if you're doing that. And, you know, there's a little clip in training, we've all seen it, was where Frimpong got absolutely toasted by him. And that was not to discredit Frimpong at all. It was just how good he was. So if you can do that to, you know, a Dutch international, 30-odd million pound player, that, you know, he's more than do it against, you know, I wouldn't say the top teams just yet, but, you know, the lower Premier League teams, cup games, yeah, I think he definitely can.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You could definitely give him starts against, you know, definitely the bottom half of the league. Give him starts in FA Cup games.
Man United and Everton, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just about getting him.
I think 2 players this season, Jay, are to come through now and be more involved in the first team, Trey Nyone and Ngamoa.
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to ask you something, AJ. You know, Bajcetic to come back.
Yeah.
Do you think Trey Nyone is now in front of Bajcetic?
I mean, possibly, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Bajcetic playing the Premier League for a couple of years now, so, you know, is it Palmas he's been at?
Yeah, Salzburg the last Palmas, yeah.
Yeah. So he hasn't had that Premier League football for. Bajcetic was really good when he came in. Don't get me wrong, and we was actually kind of thinking, is he going to be rotating with Grafenberg? Because we've seen Grafenberg get so burnt out so quickly, and Bajcetic is a similar player, a lot more defensively though. So, but this is what I was saying, man. Look at Man City, a couple of years ago when they, were winning. Well, you know what I mean, when they were winning stuff. They've got two really strong starting 11s. That's what you need to be consistent and to be competing comfortably. We've seen it with the likes of Arsenal. They haven't got the squad. They lose one or two players, that's it. Like, they're done. And I think the beauty of us, we've got so many options now. And I would like to see Slot rotate that midfield a lot more. The three we've got at the minute, absolutely great. But, we've seen February, March, they're burnt out. They can't do it. So why not give starts to these youngsters and, get them back in the squad and essentially have two 11s?
And before we do go, there was a little bit of news I want to talk about, Ryan, was Trent. According to reports in Spain, that the coaching staff are quite worried about his one-on-one defending.
Well, I mean, we could have told them that before they signed him.
Oh my God.
So I think it'd be very, very interesting. Oh, in fact, forget, release the Rio tapes.
Yeah.
If we get Real Madrid in Champions League, put Rio on that wing.
Yeah.
That will be absolutely hilarious watching him skin Trent. It will be an absolute masterclass. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. Make sure you do hit that like button. It helps out massively in terms of the growth of the channel. It takes 2 seconds. 2 seconds, that's all it takes, is to hit that like button. Just click the thumbs up and it will help our channel out massively. And subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Every breaking news will be here on Talking Reds. If Isak signs, we will be here.
Of course.
If Rodrigo signs, we will be here. If anything happens, we will be here. So subscribe to the channel and get your notification bells on as well for all your latest of Liverpool news and transfer news. And obviously, we've got games coming up. We're going to have watch-alongs coming on. We're going to have match previews, match reactions. Everything you want as a Liverpool fan will be on Talking Reds. So join us for that. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't know if we are back tomorrow. I just need someone to maybe do a show tomorrow at some point. Cause I have my second preseason match tomorrow, so I won't be available tomorrow. But yeah, if we are back tomorrow, you'll get a notification bell on your phone if you are subscribed. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button.
Go
on, mate.
Do you just want a little small exclusive on Rio Wengamoa before we go?
Go on.
So on Tuesday this week, Tuesday this week, Wednesday this week, I had a meeting with an agent from Liverpool. So it was about my own career, but he does a lot of dealings with the Liverpool youth players. And Rio Wengamoa is not a happy bunny at Liverpool in the academy. As you can imagine, the under-18s and under-21 season last season was fucking atrocious. So yeah, him and a few others are not happy bunnies. And him being around the first team squad, I think, is a little bit to do with obviously the fact that his own progression's going well, and he looks ready. But also a little bit of the club keeping him, trying to keep him sweet and trying to keep him happy before trying to agitate for anything. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this season, we can improve the under-18s and under-21 situation. But yeah, that might just be one to keep in your thinking if you see him around matchday squads a little bit more next season. That you might see him on the bench quite a lot and not get on and think, well, he needs his chance. He deserves it. Got to remember how young he is still, and also the fact that he's not the happiest of bunnies at the moment in that under-18s and under-21 squad.
It quite reminds me of this Raheem Sterling coming through as well. Raheem Sterling was unbelievable in the academy. I watched him on LCTV. When it went free, I watched him on LCTV. I said he's going to be a star. And yeah, quite similar to that, actually. So yeah, everyone, have a great night, guys. Jonathan, we will keep dreaming for my friend. You keep dreaming as well. That is going to be a Newcastle player. That's all you can do right now is dream. Thank you for watching tonight, guys.